What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Magnum West here, and I kind of wanted to start off the videos with the new segment, kind of asking you guys what you would like to see next. As you can tell by the title of the video, you know who we're looking at today. But for the next video, I want these videos to kind of be a little bit more of kind of a retrospective, kind of more in-depth about the figure itself rather than its articulations and accessories and stuff like that. And I definitely want to hear some feedback, as these are kind of my picks, right? But I'd like to give you guys the opportunity to pick exactly what we look at next. So on screen, the next three options, or the three options for the next pick for a video like this one, is on the left side, the SH Figuarts Legendary Son Goku Super Saiyan. In the middle, we got the Mayfex Nightfall Bane. And on the right side, probably the oldest figure, one of the oldest figures in my collection, but definitely the oldest here, is the Revoltech Carnage. Now, they're all a little bit older, right? I would say youngest, next youngest, and then definitely the oldest right there. But, you know, especially in today's space where information is just comes out so quickly, some of these figures aren't even that old, but in the grand scheme of things and the amount of reveals we have and things that come out and, you know, this and that, I would consider these figures to be a little bit older, right? Not old, but older. So let me know which one you guys would like to see next. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Alright, now for the video, for the main course, kind of like I mentioned in the last segment, you guys probably knew what I was talking about, but we're taking a look at the SexyIce 2019 Unkval Eliminator squads, which is a part of the Vermin series. I believe that's what they're calling it at this current moment in time. But definitely one of the first things I want to talk about is the almost surprising amount of popularity that these guys have gotten. If you guys aren't aware, this guy released just a couple months ago, but I just wanted to bring it up because a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are wanting this figure. A lot of people are curious. So, you know, I feel like more information we get out there, more publicity that these figures get, the higher chance that SexyIce 2019 will, you know, maybe catch on and be like, you know what, we should probably drop another version of this guy, or, you know, maybe even a reissue. I'm definitely leaning on more, probably a newer version or a different version, maybe different color palette. Which to some who want this figure specifically is going to be bad news, but you know, I think being able to get this figure in any degree would be a good thing. But like I said, I want to say the pre-orders for this guy went up about, I want to say like midway through second quarter of last year was when I remember the pre-orders going up. And then obviously I think they first showed this guy off, I think I mentioned in a video, one of my like talking videos. I'll probably link the most recent one somewhere right here, just so you can know what's going on with SexyIce right now. But I do believe that the prototypes for these were like the last, even though this was the figure that got me interested in SexyIce 2019, which was around 2023, was when I believe their first figure came out. I forgot her name, but it's like the white bug looking thing, and that was their first figure. But I just what's it called? Like as soon as I saw the design for these guys, I immediately fell in love, just because I believe it's one of those designs that's gonna be timeless, right? It definitely has a little bit of that, you know, cyber, you know, techno organic look, with some of the, you know, with the abs right here looking things, the thigh muscles. I don't know if these guys are artificial, like that new figure that's coming out. I don't know if they're actually manned by someone. It seems like they are, because like I said at the beginning, I'm not going to be going over all the accessories and all that. Again, I'll link the actual review that talks about everything that came with this guy. And this one, I just kind of want to talk about the figure, pose him around, and, you know, just have a good time talking about action figures. But like I said, I want to say these guys are like real people or some kind of biological organism, because they do come with this little fly. And, you know, just to get it out there so you don't think like, how the hell did you get that? This only came with the Squad Edition, which was the 3-pack. It's like the little I want to call it like a ghost, kind of from like Destiny, but it seems like it's some sort of like life support system that like heals their injuries or like gives them like adrenaline or something like that. It comes with this little thing, but I'm gonna be completely honest. This is probably one of my least favorite things about the figures. Is I love the accessory. It looks amazing and it's really good in concept, but the way that they chose to plug it in, it has these like little 4 plugins. Like I said, I'm not gonna get too into it, but it definitely is not that well designed because the little tubes that it comes with, the little bendy wire is like really tough, and on top of that, it has like a little outer tubing for the metal wire that is not very good, and it pushes in. So basically, it doesn't grab onto here that well, and it's like a pain in the ass trying to pose this thing. So honestly, I would say you should probably just use the stand it came with, and just use it that way. Don't even bother with the little plug-in. Hopefully in future versions, like I mentioned, they correct that and, it looks better. Today is, I believe, August 4th. And I did a post yesterday, August 3rd, showing off these guys. So just, if you want to see some more pictures. But I would say kind of getting more into the action figure now, besides, what's going on around it. Probably the thing that caught the people most off guard was just the amount of articulation that these guys have. I myself was pretty shocked initially at the amount of range and articulation that these guys have. Just because, like, this is usually typical of, like, Mafex, right? But with a lot of third-party companies, I wouldn't consider these guys third-party companies, but because they are smaller, they are sort of on the same playing field as a third-party company, just because I assume that they do not have the amount of resources that a lot of big-name companies like Rebel Tech, Mafex, Tamashi, and stuff like that they have, right? But that's not to say that they can't produce quality stuff, as we've seen with this figure. And I definitely think, like I said, that's the main thing that caught people off guard. Is I feel like a lot of people didn't trust that someone as small or like really unknown as SexyIce could produce an amazing figure. Although I would say, like, since about 2023, the bootleg and third party game has like jumped immensely. Like, I mean, we're talking about third party and bootleg companies such as like CT Toys, Bees Deities, Tonson R, and stuff like that be able to produce high quality figures on par, or even in some cases better than most big name brands, right? In the third party sense, when it comes to like Dragon Ball stuff, a lot of people have their reservations because it's unlicensed, and some people think it's kind of scummy. One of those people being Anthony's Customs. He has a pretty harsh opinion on third parties. I wouldn't say harsh. I would say that he just has an opinion on them, says that it's not right. But in my opinion, what I say is, as the consumer, we shouldn't really care, because I don't work for Toei Animation. I don't work for Tamashi. I don't really care who makes them, because a lot of stuff that's being made by third parties and these smaller companies is just stuff that the main populace wants. And due to, it's a whole conversation, but the truth be told is, a lot of these decisions and why things don't get made, or why things do get made, things that we don't like, things that we want that don't get made, it honestly boils down to corporate, bureaucracy, and also bias and decisions. Like, some people literally just don't make stuff because they don't want to. Like, it's that simple, you know what I mean? Like, people were asking for that Gojo dude from Tamashi like for years, and they just revealed them like earlier, like this month or last month. So it's just one of those things where, like, no matter how popular and how much money a figure could make, they just don't even end up making it. And it's kind of funny, because it's like, usually that's what, corporations' big, game is to make as much money as they can with whatever given licenses, you know what I mean? But a lot of times they don't listen to that. Like, people have been asking for a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta since the dawn of time from Tamashi, and they've made, Super Android 17. They've made Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Vegeta, Pan, GT Goku. Like, they've made an immense amount of the roster, but for whatever reason, they're heavy hitters, like the ones people have really been asking for, like Omega Shenron, Super Baby Vegeta 2, Baby Vegeta 1, the baby, basically the whole baby cast, Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, like I said, Omega Shenron. I don't know if I said that already. But a lot of these characters, Super Saiyan, Super Perfect Cell, a lot of these guys, they've just refused to make. So when it comes to that whole third party thing, I would say that, I don't really care who makes it, as long as it's made and it looks cool. I'm there. You know what I mean? Like I said, I also mentioned in my last video that I'll plug in at the start there, so you can know what's going on with SexyIce. I hope SexyIce listens to the fan base and they do reproduce these figures, because if not, they are definitely creating a space and a pocket where third-party companies and bootleg companies such as CT Toys, AC Studios, and there's probably a couple more out there that I don't know of, bootleg studios, but if they can bootleg Mayfex, they can definitely bootleg this. They can also bootleg Rebel Tech, and SexyIce has pretty, comparable, comparable articulation and design scheme as Rebel Tech. So it's not impossible to do that, right? I hope that it doesn't get to that, because like I said, I really like SexyIce 2019, and I would like for them to continue making action figures. But definitely limiting themselves to these limited releases, like that new SexyIce X Heat Boys, like the yellow Eliminator, is like, it's just things that, like, I don't understand. Like, why would you do that? You're limiting not only your exposure, but also the amount of revenue you can generate, the amount of people that become familiar with the product that you're selling, right? It just doesn't really make sense. But I'm gonna go ahead and swap out the accessories here, and then we'll keep going. Okay, now swapped up the accessories a little bit, just to get some differentiation in there, and really show off some of the accessories. And I also wanted to say that I think the accessory variety is amazing. There's like pretty much like 4 different looks that you can get, like 4 different types of characters that you can get. Like, you can have one guy, be the tank assaulter type dude. You can and another thing, real quick, while I'm on there, most 112 accessories fit with these guys. Like, at the beginning, you saw I had the Marvel Legends Punisher, the Uzi, and the little Mac 8, or whatever that gun's called, the little small automatic pistol. And yeah, so that makes for a great amount of posability and differentiation. Like, you could use 112 scale swords, assault rifles, rocket launchers, stuff like that. All of that's pretty much going to fit with these guys. Even the McFarlane accessories fit with these guys. So if you have any of that kind of stuff, it adds that much more playability and posability, and, like I said, potential for photography and stuff like that. But like I said, it comes with like a lot of cool different stuff, and I sold one, so that's why I don't have the third. But I did get the squad edition, and like I said, that little bug thing, although it's kind of a pain in the ass to actually pose it, once you do get it in a cool pose, or you use a stand for it instead, it's gonna look really cool and just add to that world building, which is another thing I wanted to mention. Is I think SexyIce is doing an amazing job of creating this sort of universe where, for whatever reason, these Unkval guys, like the Smasher that they've showed off, the red and like bluish gray one, this guy, now the Heat Boys, like the Purifier, I think is what it's called. It's not an Eliminator, but like all of that stuff's really adding to the whole kind of mysticism or mystery around this stuff. And I think we're going to get some amazing innovation and just creative action figures from this company for a long time to come, in the midst of a pretty grim world we're living in right now. There's a lot of bullshit going on, excuse my language, but there's a lot of BS going on right now. And it's definitely nice to be able to kick back and really enjoy some action figures. And I definitely still tip my hats off, although I don't agree with their like no reissue. You know, they're not planning to remake any of these figures. I really don't like that. I think that they should give everyone the opportunity to enjoy stuff like this. Again, just another archetype you can make, like a, you know, stealthy poison dagger kind of dude. Looks really cool. I kind of almost imagine it like GI Joes, but yeah, like I was saying, I really hope they do. I really hope they change their minds on that, and they realize that a lot of people are interested in, you know, supporting this company and just really getting to know these action figures, and they're amazing. You know what I mean? Like, I could talk about this stuff for days, but like I said, I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea, pose this guy around, talk about some things in relation to the figure. I know we got a little sidetracked, but I still believe that a lot of that is vital to know, just because it's in relation to the way kind of these toy brands work and some of the outcomes that may occur if you know, they don't turn a page and they give the people what they want. At the end of the day, there's going to be someone out there that's going to be willing to do it, and is going to be willing to do it for cheaper. So instead of paying $80, you can pay CT Toys, you know, probably like $30 for one of these guys, and they'll probably end up, you know, maybe even making their own versions of this that's, you know, pink and blue and, you know, all these crazy colors. So I really hope SexyIce 2019 keeps producing these guys, and also, like I said, ends up reissuing this stuff, as it's amazing. And I think this is still figure of the year for me. There's a couple figures coming out this year that, you know, are definitely runner-ups, but so far this has been my favorite release of 2025. So let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna end the video there. I don't want to, you know, go drag it on forever. Let me know if you guys like this style video. I would definitely be excited and happy if you guys like this kind of video, because I like, you know, ranting and kind of running my lips from time to time. So you know, let me know what you guys think about the videos, other information you'd like for me to include, you know, other topics you'd want me to cover. I'm all about it. I love getting feedback from you guys. And yeah, I'll pretty much leave it there. Always, as always, consider liking, sharing, and subbing, as it helps grow the channel, helps let me know you guys are liking the content, and obviously, you know, all that good stuff. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a great day. Peace.